And welcome back to Studio 43 in the State Farm postgame show. Back to the highlights, starting with Nate.
That's right. We have an AFC North matchup. We have the Bengals, the Browns, and this was about injuries. One guy bouncing back from an injury, and Nick Chubb, who's making his debut the first game in 2024. And just seeing him touch the ball is one thing, but to get in the end zone is another thing. I believe this is one of the best stories in all of football. But then Joe Burrow going up top to Jamar Chase, high fade, back shoulder. Wide receiver tracks it before the DB. He gets in. And then Joe Burrow, he wasn't done. Looking for his other superstar. That's T. Higgins. Inside slant route. DB misses the tackle, and then he skates on in for the TD. When you have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins making plays, it's just hard for you to stop this offense because they get rolling. Cincinnati Bengals, they now move to 3-4 after winning 21-14. Don't count out these Bengals just yet.
You guys said Cincy will be there at the end of the day. All right, they got it done. And after the game, it was our Aditi Kinkawala talking with Joe Burrow.
Joe, you told us yesterday that sometimes it's important to not be perfect and still win. So what's your takeaway today?
Yeah, we got it done. You know, the first half wasn't great. You know, we were able to move the ball in some spots, but, you know, we weren't great on third down today. Second half, we found some scores, and our defense really stepped up big.
And you did, in the second half, in fact, make some big throws. What changed?
You know, our guys made some plays. That's a really good defense. I would say that's the best defense we've played. Their secondary is great. Their front is great. Their linebackers play fast and physical, so they always make it tough on us.
Okay, and Joe, how does it feel to finally win in Cleveland?
Yeah, it feels good. It's just the next one, so we'll enjoy this one tonight and then come back tomorrow.
All right, we appreciate the time. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think Joe Burrow's spot on, right? Offensively, this wasn't kind of what you expect from the Cincinnati offense, right? They've shown at different times throughout the year to be very explosive. We talked about in the pregame, though, what we wanted to see was the Cincinnati defense show up, and they did today. Better against the run, letting up only 77 yards. Better getting after the quarterback. 4 sacks for this Cincinnati defense. So to me, this is a step in the right direction for them as a team, right? Sometimes you need to win ugly. Today was an ugly win on the road. Good for them getting the job done.
No doubt. I don't care if this game did not have as many highlights as Joe Burrow's hair. I don't care about that. If you win ugly, that says more about your team and in the second half playing the right way you want it. Just like you said with the Bills second half, a professional approach after you make some adjustments, figure out where you can improve, and then they start to make plays. And let's just keep it real. This offense is going to be based around Joe Burrow's accuracy and his superstar wide receiver stepping up, which is Jamar Chase and a guy like T. Higgins. Everybody else, they're the complementary players, but that right there is the go to this offense.
You know, we talked about in this league, and we've sat up here and talked about sometimes there's a team that you just don't match up well against.
Yeah.
That's Joe Burrow and the Cleveland Browns. He's 1-5 against those guys. First time he's won in Cleveland. Like he's talked about, 2 of 13 on third down. They didn't do much on offense. So you can tell the frustration in him because let's give it. That Cleveland defense got after him very well today. The lack of offense is what they had, and they couldn't put up enough points. And really the difference in this game was the opening kickoff.
Yeah.
That was taken for a touchdown. So this game was back and forth. And, again, a lot of fight came out of Cleveland today, but just not enough and too many playmakers right there for Cincinnati when they needed it.
You know, and I think you said it exactly right, when they needed it. And, you know, we were talking a little bit in the pregame about Cincinnati climbing their way back into the AFC wild card picture. And so, you know, T. Higgins stepping up and making that touchdown when you need it, slant over the middle. Jamar Chase on the back shoulder throw. Joe Burrow finding them. I mean, these guys to me, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
Best like 1-2, right?
Yeah, this is as good of a 1-2. So you're going to see him not scared to go over the middle. Big physical target. Joe Burrow looking again over the middle. Goes up, gets it. As a quarterback, this is what I love, right? Having guys that are not scared to go over the middle, knowing you can take advantage of some of those pressure looks you're going to get and fill in those little voids when you have them. I love seeing that. But this 1-2 combo, maybe not as productive as you would like to see, but the touchdowns at the bottom, that's at the end of the day all that matters. They got the job done.
That's right. And Matt, you know about having different types of receivers with different skill sets doing different things. The reason I bring that up is because T. Higgins, he sits at 6'4". And usually those 6'4" guys, they want to sit on the outside. They want to run their go routes and post routes. But if you can get a guy to commit to the offense and say, you know what, I need you to condense that frame, get in the slot, and manipulate those defenses, whether it's zone, a shorter nickelback, because typically that's what they look like, or going up against linebackers, I'll get you the ball, and you'll make more plays in this offense. And that's what we saw. Those highlights right there were T. Higgins playing in between the hashes. That's a very strong advantage that you have when you have a big guy like that, and then Jamar Chase, who pretty much can do do it all, sitting at around 6'1", 6'2".
And it reminds me of one of the guys that I played with that was formerly a Bengal in Mohamed Sanu.
Yep.
Where you
Big
can
frame.
move this bigger frame into the slot, and it creates matchup problems. Oftentimes, the nickel DB, the nickel corner, that fifth DB who comes on, is the smallest defender that they put on the field. So it's not like it's no different than playing basketball, right? This is a matchup problem.
Mouse in the house is what we used to
and
call
you're
it.
trying to find that matchup problem. T. Higgins creates problems for defense.
JB knows about that. He used to be in that post with them
That
tiny
point
shorts
forward
on.
down there.
With them grape smuggler shorts on.
And a big afro and some sideburns. Go ahead, Coach.
You know, even on the defensive side of the ball, you talked about them having to get better and maybe being the Achilles heel for this football team moving forward. Trey Hendrickson, 2 sacks. Sam Hubbard, 1 sack.
Yeah.
And then talk about the guy in the middle, B.J. Hill.
Yes.
He clogs it up. He takes away the running game, and he puts those big mitts up sometimes. If he knows he can't get there, waiting for them to flush, or those little passes across the middle, he bats them down. So they got some complementary elements on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, you said it. Trey Hendrickson, sneaky having a great year. 7 sacks already
No
on the
doubt.
season, kind of entering that maybe dark horse player of the year type thing if they can get rolling.
You know, John Madden used to talk about having your bucket full to talk whenever you're needed. You guys are just full of information. I'll have more to speak on that in a minute. But right now, we've got Zack Taylor talking to his guys in the winning locker room.
No, that's football in this division is just like that, right? First half, defense, special teams, you guys kept us in there, kept us in control of the game. Allowed the offense to come out in the second half and respond with 2 scoring drives to break this thing open, okay? And then defense getting those stops and special teams, again, holding down field position at the end. That's big time. That's awesome. It's tough to win on the road. It's tough to win in this division. My hat's off to you guys.
Team win! Team win!
I tell you, Zach is spot on because it does take 3 elements to the game, and they exactly exhibited that today. Opening kickoff, defense first half, the big plays they needed in the second half of that game.
Yeah, I don't want to date this too far back because I know we're 6 or 7 weeks into the season, but at this point in the year, when the Cincinnati Bengals start to figure out who they are and they start to grasp onto their identity, I can't help but think about the first couple of weeks of the year.
Yeah.
It's just they dig themselves a hole. And, yeah, okay, they're going to be relevant a few weeks from now. But what happens if they would have just started faster? I know we can't cry over spilled milk. This is where we are. But, man, it just takes them so long to get going.
Yeah, and I just want to make mention of the injuries in this game and Deshaun Watson and what looked like could be a season-ending injury. I don't want to speculate, but hopefully he's going to be okay. But Nick Chubb coming back in.
Man.
And for all that he's gone through, the articles that he wrote to the Cleveland fans and him to come back and score today.
No doubt.
That was good for him, man. I'm happy you're back. I'm happy you're playing the way that you are.